Hey guys, this is Tiggy Maximus with Tiggy Maximus Talks, episode 200 on Spotify and YouTube. Can you believe it, guys? We made it 200 episodes. I can't believe it. It's quite a journey. Tiggy Maximus is very appreciative. Thank you guys for everything. Yeah, thank you guys for following the podcast, subscribing to the podcast, listening to the podcast, spreading to your word to your friends and family, spread the word to your coworkers. Also, thank you guys for donating to the podcast. There's a link on my Spotify episode where you can click on it, and it takes you to a window where you can make a donation. I believe the minimum is like 99 cents a month. So basically $1 a month, $12 for a whole year, just to kind of listen to me talk about food, comedy, and sports. And, I do have another link on my YouTube episode. So if you see it on this episode, it will take you to the Spotify episodes, and it'll give you a chance to, donate to the podcast. There's a link within the podcast, or if you go on the podcast webpage within Spotify, it will allow you guys to donate. So on this episode 200 of Tiggy Maximus Talks on Spotify and YouTube, I'm going to be talking about one comedy show. The headliner is Julia Rose, and she's an actress, she's a musician, and she's a comic. The trifecta. She got to headline a show in the Gold Room in the Mic Drop Comedy Club in Claremont Mesa Boulevard, right off the 163 freeway, right close to Denny's and the Superior Courthouse, and Pha Duen Mai, and Quantum Brewery, and 163 Golden Restaurant. I think there's a Shogun there too. So, quite a few places surrounding the Mic Drop Comedy Club. Also, I'm going to talk about the Chargers' week 4 performance. And we got some predictions for UFC 307, the main card. And we're going to talk a little bit about the Padres, the playoff push, and how they did in the first round of the MLB playoffs. And tell you guys what's going on. Alright, let's get to it. Let's start off with the comedy review. So, Winslow Blow was the first person to come up. He was hosting the show. First time seeing Winslow. He's a military guy. He is a little flamboyant, so to speak. And he did well. He got some good laughs from the crowd. He did do some crowd work. And he kind of incorporated stuff from the military. They did ask about if anyone's done service in the room. Trying to get a feel for what the crowd is in the room. So overall, Winslow as a host and his jokes, I gotta say 8.25 for Winslow Blow, who just so happens to talk about his name and the long lineage of Blow. And then we got Michael Cologne, who was next. He did talk about being mixed race. Did kind of talk about what would happen to your car given his race. I wonder if it's true. It's just that if you can break into your car, but you can't drive away with it. Um, and then I guess just growing up, being accepted or not accepted by either race. And then I guess there's a mention of white people and how they portray mixed race of Puerto Rican and Japanese. I think that's what he said. Puerto Rican and Japanese. Yeah. Um, he did mention that he learned some Korean, but learned Korean from a guy by the name of Ali. um, so, so that was kind of cool. I do wonder if that was kind of a new thing where he learned Korean from a non-Korean guy. So Michael didn't do too bad. He got a lot of laughs in his set. Just about half of his set, I would say that he got probably some good laughs from the people in the room. Oh, by the way, the room sold out, by the way. Yeah, Michael Cologne, 8.4 out of 10. The next person to go up, I believe, was Jake Worldwide. I had the pleasure of seeing this guy over at the Jazzy Wishbone in Oceanside, run by Kyle Dean. And I gotta say, Jake did really well in this set. Got a lot of people laughing. He did talk about his looks, and then and I guess it was he might have talked about I guess he talked about dating, but over half of his comedy set, I can actually hear that the crowd was loving just about almost everything he had to say. The only thing about Jake is that I think he kind of had an awkward closing. But other than that, he did pretty well. I like this set. 8.75 out of 10. Next we have Josh Mergel. I think I've seen him once or twice before, and he got some laughs, but I don't think that half of his set got not a lot of laughs. Kind of chill. It might be just because of the material that he puts out there. But he did get a couple laughs, but it's just that it's kind of chill. So I gotta say Josh Mergel for this one is an 8 out of 10. Then next up we have Thomas Mays. Thomas Mays did pretty well. He sat on a stool and he told us his story about being pulled over by the cops on the freeway and having to pass through Arizona, but he ate something before he left. And you know, anytime you have a bubbly feeling inside your tummy, and well, he always talks about how his poop diarrhea was so powerful it knocked over a police car and an 18-wheeler. So that was quite a story. And the fact that he told that story, I do very much believe him. Uh, and then Thomas Mays, I think he did a little bit of crowd work. And, he does a really great job with that. And his sets usually are good. And I can tell that more than half of his set got a lot of laughs in this particular night. And the crowd liked him a lot. So I gotta say, as talented as Jake is, I want to say let's give him an 8.75 out of 10. Next up, I believe we had Fred Juan Somo. He likes to start off with doing a little bit of an accent, and he did talk about how he got fired from his dad's marketplace because he was charging everybody the right price. That got some big laughs, and he did mention that he is kind of Asian because you can't have a Middle Eastern continent, which is kind of true. So he has to mark down Asian. He did say that he must be Asian because he can't see all of us. And he high-fived an Asian woman in the front row after he apologized for that. That's kind of his style. I can't help it because it does make you laugh. So he's a great guy. He's super awesome, and he brought his wife with him too. So honestly, he brought some great energy, brought some great laughs. He was funny almost throughout his set, so I want to say Fed One Somo is an 8.75 out of 10. He's not very mean-spirited. I've seen him quite a few times that, when you talk to him, he's a great guy, and, it's all jokes. So, and he's an Eagles fan. So, we got that going, and I'm a Chargers fan, so Chargers will do better than the Eagles. But yeah, Fed One Somo, 8.75 out of 10. So we come to our headliner, the person that we were all there to see. And what's interesting is that I actually saw Julia Rhodes kind of hanging out in the hallway before she stepped into the gold room, and she was grinning from ear to ear the moment that she can hear all the people cheering, yelling, wooing right before the host was about to bring her out. And Winslow Blow had to read some credits about her being in an FX show called Baskets, kind of a big deal. And she high-fived people along the wall, the right wall, the left wall. She stopped by the stage a couple times, and then she finally settled onto the stage. And she kind of told about her issues with her dad, and she played a few songs for us, and had to think about Netflix and passwords. And then she talked about her dating life, how she picks bad guys. I guess some guys said that just simply didn't like her, but remembered her name. I did remember some of that from the last time I saw her. Daddy issues. The Netflix password, I kind of remember that one. So, but yeah, she tried to talk about her dating stuff. But it was fun hearing it, and the people liked her songs with the jokes in it. So the fact that you can actually sing and tell jokes at the same time is quite a talent. But yeah, I think she was only up there for what seemed like 10-15 minutes. Normally, headliners give themselves about 20, 30, 45 an hour, but I think Julia gave herself a short set than most headliners. Um, but it's all good. The show ended pretty much just over an hour. So to have um, six comics, and then you got Julia Rose doing singing, guitar play, and telling jokes. And I did bring two friends with me, Luis Alvarado and Jacqueline um, Cataluna. So um, they had a fun time, a lot of great comics. They got to see Julia Rose, and um, Julia Rhodes, overall, definitely more than half of her set. People enjoyed it. You can hear the laughter, the cheers for every song. Um, I gotta say, Julia Rhodes did a great job headlining. I do wish that her name was in the marquee in the lights on the mic drop marquee that's in front of the mic drop comedy club. I have seen where certain comics will ask for their name of their show to be placed in the lights while the show is going on or the night of. So um, I want to say Julie Rose for this show, she was an 8.8 out of 10. And I got to talk to her for a little bit, got some pictures of her and her crew, and got a picture with her myself. Um, and overall, great show. And honestly, the fact that she sold out the show, that should be basically, she should be back more often for the next calendar year and beyond. So you'll probably be seeing her maybe once or twice a year. She's got acting, singing, telling jokes, get all that working for her. So sky's the limit. um, so let's go ahead and talk about. Ooh. Okay. So we got, well, I don't know if I talked about it. So yeah, the Chargers did lose last Sunday to the Chiefs at home at SoFi Stadium in LA, 17-10. Chargers up 2-2. Justin Herbert, he kind of had high ankle sprain, and I kind of wish he didn't play, but the fact that he's such a competitor, he wanted to play and didn't want to let down the fans. And surprisingly, with all the injuries on the Chargers, with Joe Alt out, he's our first round draft pick, offensive lineman for Notre Dame, really big guy, tall. And he's supposed to protect the right side of Justin Herbert, but he got hurt. I did notice that the Chargers did allow some defensive players to hit Justin Herbert, so there are holes in our offensive line. But despite all that, the Chargers actually kept Mahomes and the Chiefs pretty much at bay for almost the entire game until the fourth quarter. So the Chargers went out 10-0, but the Chiefs eventually tied it 10-10 on a long bomb from Mahomes to Xavier Worthy, who happens to be a first-round draft pick, I believe, receiver. So they stocked up on some great receivers. Rashid Rice did get hurt, and the team is fearing that he tore, I guess, tore an ACL or MCL. So he might be gone for some time. I did have to drop him from my fantasy football team because I have so many holes because I have so many buys this week, and I need to replace my buy players with new players. And the fact that I want the team that I have with all the buys, I can't even use Christian McCaffrey, I can't use Cooper Kupp, and I lost Rashid Rice. So I had to be creative. I had to pick up a defense, dropping the Chargers. I had to drop my kicker, Cameron Dicker, the kicker. I think I got the Tampa Bay defense, which only got me 1 point on this past Thursday Night Football against the Falcons. At least I got something. I did get another kicker. I think I got the kicker from the Washington Commanders, who's been doing pretty well. Had a big game last week against the Cincinnati Bengals. I think his name is Seibert. So, I might keep him if he does well this week. But if he doesn't do well this week, I'm going to drop him and pick up again my Cameron Dicker, the kicker. Same thing goes with the Chargers defense. If he just the Chargers defense is still available Wednesday morning next week, I'm going to pick the Chargers defense. So, yeah. And I probably had to pick up a running back too. So I have a Band-Aid team for this particular weekend. And then I need to drop some of these guys to reselect some of my other players, like the Chargers defense and the Chargers kicker. So got a wheel and deal. It seems like most of my other teams, my 3 other teams, I think I'm like I'm 1-3. The one that I have all the buys is 2-2. The one where I did win 1 championship but I lost in the final last season is the 1-3. And then I have one at work, it's a 2-2. And then I have a good buddy of mine who used to be a colleague. I think I'm 2-2 in that one. So yeah, interesting week. I mean, I do have my homes for 3 of those 4 teams, with Justin Herbert as my backup in 3 of those 4 teams. I do have Joe Burrow for one of my teams, so, and Dak Prescott. So I guess really I have 2 Mahomes, 1 Dak, 1 Burrow, and I have 3 Justin Herberts, and I guess 1 is Trevor Lawrence. Oh man, okay. Anywho, Chargers have a bye week, but when they come back from their bye week, week 6, they're going to go to Denver to play against the Denver Broncos. And since the Broncos are playing the Raiders this weekend, whoever wins that game is going to be in second place, and the Chargers will be playing the Denver Broncos. And good chance that if Denver wins this weekend, that game against the Chargers is going to end up being a fight for second place. So yeah, that should be fun to watch. Justin Herbert should be better health-wise with the bye week. So we'll see. This 13-game stretch will start next Sunday. So go Chargers. Hopefully they can go 15-2 rest of the way. 2-2 now, 15-2 for the rest of the season, and probably get a number 1 seed. Overtake the Kansas City Chiefs. Get that home field. Play at SoFi Stadium. Don't play in cold weather. Yeah. Also, Padres. Padres did so well this week. They finished the season 93-69. They're the number 4 seed. So they got to host the number 5 seed, the Atlanta Braves. And all 3 games are at home for the Padres in San Diego at Petco Park. And the Padres got things going. Fernando Tatis got a 2-run homer, got things going. Michael King shutting down the Braves, went 7 innings, struck out 12 batters. And then, they brought in Robert Suarez to close out Game 1. 4-0 victory in Game 1 on Tuesday night. Then Wednesday night was a very much closer game. Joe Musgrove, he was doing pretty well. He was down 1-0. Padres went up 5-1. The Padres were hitting the ball pretty well. And then in the 4th inning, Joe Musgrove got hurt. Elbow inflammation, bone spurts in his elbow. And this is what sidelined him during the season for about 3 months. And when that was discovered, I don't think he's going to come back for this particular 2024 postseason. But Higgy Asioka, the catcher for the Padres, who happens to work in tandem with Joe Musgrove, he knew exactly his body language. And the moment that he threw that last pitch, Higgy basically came out, got everybody to go to the mound, and let Joe Musgrove know, I recognize that, and I know you're hurt. And the trainers came out and they escorted Joe Musgrove out of the game. And then he was replaced, and the Braves kind of made it very close. They got a couple home runs, made it 5-4, and then, but the Padres with Jason Adams, he kind of settled down, closed out the 8 after he gave up the 2-run homer to make it 5-4, and then the ball was handed over to Robert Suarez, who got the 3 outs, and it was a very interesting 9th inning, but the Padres bullpen pulled through with Adams, Scott, Estrada, and then Robert Suarez closing out the game. So Padres win 5-4. They win the best of 3 wild card series, 2-0. Now the 4-seed Padres are going to go to LA, play the number 1 seed of the National League, the LA Dodgers, in Dodger Stadium. So Game 1 of the 5-game series of this divisional series of the National League is going to be Saturday night, 5:38 p.m. I believe Dylan Cease is going to go on the mound. Yamamoto is going to go up for the Dodgers for Game 1. From what I can tell, Game 2 is going to be basically Michael King, and Flaherty is going to go for the Dodgers in Game 2. The other thing is Yu Darvish might be the Game 2 starter, but most likely it might be Game 3. And the Dodgers have to counter with another pitcher for Game 3 after their day off on Monday, and then start again on Tuesday for Game 3 and Wednesday for Game 4. And then Thursday's an off day, and if it's needed, Game 5 is on next Friday in LA. So the first 2 games in LA, the next 2 games in San Diego, and the final game in LA. So the Dodgers are going to bring their best batters and pitchers. Padres are going to bring their best pitchers and their best batters. This is going to be a very explosive 5-game series. I think the Padres are going to win 3-1. So this should be a very good divisional series. Padres will come out on top, I hope. And sky's the limit for this season's Padres. On the other side, well, the New York Mets defeated the Milwaukee Brewers. Won 2-1 in the wild card series. Mets won the first one. Brewers came back and won the second one. Brewers are ahead in the 9th inning by 2 in the game 3, and it looks like the Brewers are about to win the wild card series until Pete Alonso for the Mets hit a 3-run homer and saved the Mets, and they won 4-2, and now they get to play the number 2 seed, the Philadelphia Phillies in Philly. That should be an interesting 5-game series. They're divisional rivals, just like the Padres and Dodgers. That should be pretty exciting. Can't wait. On the other side, well, the Royals beat the Astros. The Royals beat the Orioles 2-0. Very close series. The Orioles scored only one run in 2 games. Another first-round exit, or another one-and-done exit. They were the number 1 seed, but they got swept by the Texas Rangers last season. This time, they're the number 4 seed. I was really high on them, but they got swept into 2-0 by the Kansas City Royals. So now the Royals are going to go play the Yankees, the number 1 seed. And then on the other side, the number 2 seed Guardians are going to be playing the number 6 seed Detroit Tigers, who swept the Houston Astros 2-0 as well. So the mighty Astros are gone. So that's too bad. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Royals pull through for the American League. But Yankees might be good enough to be in the World Series against hopefully the Padres. So the last part of this, guys, is my predictions for the main card of UFC 307, which is going to be in Utah. It's going to be headlined by the main event, Alex Pereira defending the light heavyweight championship against Khalil Roundtree. So the first fight on the main card, we got Roman Dolidze. He's going up against Kevin Holland. That one, I believe, is a welterweight fight. And that one's going to have a lot of striking. And I think that Kevin Holland is going to win this one. Kevin Holland probably will win by decision. Split decision. Then we have Kayla Harrison fighting at bantamweight. She's going to be going up against Caitlin Vieira, a very formidable opponent for Kayla Harrison. I do think Kayla Harrison will have a little bit of trouble with Vieira, but I think Kayla Harrison will have a late stoppage. Probably late TKO, 3rd round. So then we got Jose Aldo coming back for another fight. He's going to be fighting against Mario Bautista. This should be a very interesting fight. It might go very much back and forth, but this probably will keep it standing. You'll probably see some leg kicks from Jose Aldo, but I think Mario Bautista is going to end up winning by decision. But it's going to be a fun fight. And then we got our co-main event. Raquel Pennington defending her bantamweight championship against former champion Juliana Pena. This one, I feel that this is going to be a strike fest. Striking for the entire 5 rounds for the most part. Maybe some takedowns, but mostly striking. I think that Juliana Pena is going to win by TKO. and she's gonna call out Kayla Harrison, who's probably will call out Juliana Pena or Raquel Pennington, since they're on the same main card. That should be fireworks, and whoever wins will be facing Kayla Harrison probably. Likewise, Kayla Harrison, Juliana Pena. That one has been brewing for some time. Should be fun. And then, of course, our main event, our light heavyweight championship, Alex Pereira, Poatan, Stone Face, Stone Hands. Khalil Roundtree, okay, so he does have some power. He can finish people. But with both of their kickboxing, so it'll be a lot of kicking, but I feel that Alex Pereira is going to win by TKO. TKO second round. Alex Pereira will win by a violent finish. It'll be a very explosive strike to Khalil Roundtree that will make him crumble to the canvas, and Alex Pereira will show us again why he is the best fighter, one of the best fighters out there. And honestly, it's always fun to watch Alex Pereira fight, and the fact that the only guys he ever does fight in the UFC are all former champions. So guy's a scary dude, and the fact that he wants to fight the heavyweight champion Bones Jones or Tom Aspinall, man, that's gonna be a very interesting, intriguing fight. So I can't wait what 2025 is gonna hold for Alex Pereira, and hopefully Bones Jones, is gonna be around long enough to challenge Alex Pereira for basically the GOAT status. So yeah, those are my picks, guys, for UFC 307. Alex Pereira, Juliana Pena, Mario Bautista, Kayla Harrison, and Kevin Holland. So enjoy the picks, guys. Enjoy the fights. Have some good company, good food. Watch some good comedy shows. Again, watch some good sports. Watch some good fights. And the saying goes, boom! Tiggy Maximus signing off. Baby. Alright, there we go, guys.